Hello friends, today we are going to deal with a new topic, that is marketing management, and we are going to talk about the chapter number 1, that is introduction to the basic concepts. Now marketing is integral to any business. Now as you know, like, what is a business? A business is all about creating some value, and that value can be in terms of you are making some product or you are giving some services. Now the way you are going to reach to your customers, okay, and you are going to tell you about your product or services, so the entire process is basically covered under the concept of sales and marketing. So going by a standard definition, marketing is a economic process by which goods and services are exchanged between the producers and the consumers, and their value is determined in terms of money or the monetary prices. So that means you are identifying and meeting the customers which are the customer needs profitably. So like I said just now, like any business will be dependent on two things. Number one, what is the need of the customer, and how you are going to address the need of the customer, in which manner you are going to address to the need of the customer. The more valuable your solution would be, the more better there will be chances that you will excel in your business. Now for doing this, you should be able to bring this your solution to the maximum number of customers. So from here, the basic thing that you should know first in order to reach to the customer is you need to understand their needs, wants and demands. Okay, what is a need? It is a state of felt deprivation including physical, social and the individual needs. Now what is a want? Needs become wants when they are directed to the specific objects that might satisfy their needs. So to give an example, suppose you are feeling hungry. Eating chapati with dal can satisfy your need of having hunger, and it can satisfy your need because you are feeling hungry. Okay, but then the thought of taking or getting a pizza to satisfy your hunger would be a want. So that means eating a roti or a dal is the need, and take and feeling to have a pizza is a want. Okay, now based on this, the concept, there is also concept of demand. Now demand are basically wants for the products that are backed by an ability and willingness to buy them. So for example, your capacity to buy that want is basically going to address the factor which is called as demand. So when we talk about marketing, what you are basically going to market, you are going to market basically your product or your services. So what is a product? A product is anything that can be offered to satisfy a need or a want. So product are basically classified into two, that is goods or services. But then the question comes that these are the only two things that can be marketed. Then the answer is basically you can also market events or experiences. For example, Olympics. When we talk about experiences, the kingdom of dreams, okay, where you are basically marketing an experience. Can you market some person? Yes, Sachin Tendulkar, Shah Rukh Khan, they are the person where the brand name gets marketed. Then places, for example, like you see nowadays, the lot of ads is coming about Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, and the places being marketed. Then the properties, any housing society or a new apartment in Dubai can be marketed. Organizations, big NGOs like Cry or Save the Children, the marketing is done. And similarly, information like Wikipedia, so like this, or a new idea, so all things can be marketed. And even an online counseling in the picture can also be a concept of marketing. So when you talk about marketing, there has to be a market. So what is market? A market, like from a childhood you are going to the market. So when you go, there are certain shops, you have certain needs, that you want to buy something, you want to eat something. So that means it consists of all potential customers sharing a particular need or want, and who might be willing and be able to engage in exchange to satisfy their need or want. Okay, so one, for example, you are feeling hungry, and there's one shop where you can get food, but then there's a McDonald's restaurant. So majority of the chance you will go to the McDonald's because there's a trust element, and you know the food is good at a very reasonable price. So marketplace can be physical and marketplace can be digital. So in the previous times the marketplaces were always physical, but now with the advent of big platforms like Flipkart or Amazon, okay, so these are places where the things are being sold digitally. So basically, when you summarize all these things, marketing is basically an activity. It is a set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating. So that means you are creating something, okay, then you are communicating, you are then delivering and exchanging offerings. So basically what in crux we are trying to tell is, it is basically the question of creating some value. And when you create some value, then it needs to be marketed, it needs to be sold, okay, and then it needs to be delivered to its customers. And it is neither free, it is never free, it is basically in lieu of some profit, so that you are able to sustain and you need to grow. So basically, the goals of marketing is to attract new customers by promising superior value, and you keep and grow current customers by delivering their satisfaction. From here we come to the next concept, that is selling versus marketing. So if you look, selling is nothing but converting the product into a cash, okay. So marketing is the overall concept where you basically create, you deliver, and you basically finally consume it, whereas selling is basically it focuses on the needs of the its needs of, because you, unless and until you sell the thing, or it is the end product of marketing, okay. So from here we will come to the next concept, that within marketing there are certain concepts, okay. Like for example, the concept about production. So whenever you talk in terms of marketing, the consumers will favor those products which are widely available and which are lower in cost. See, everybody is looking for those products which has got a better value, to high value, but from a costing point of view it is quite reasonable and it is optimal, okay. Henceforth, when you increase the production, and there's a cut down in the cost, and consumers will always favor those products that offer the most quality, performance, and innovative features. And when you talk about these things, then basically when we talk in terms of product, we need to see what is the quality, at what price we are selling it, and if the things are good, then definitely the customers would like to buy it, and which will lead to increased sales and increased profits. So if you collaborate both the things, selling is a part of marketing, and it is the ultimate result of marketing, okay. It is being done in order to fulfill the volumes objectives. So sales basically fulfills the volumes objectives, okay. And then when you talk about marketing, marketing is basically achieving your organizational goals, okay, so that you are able to reach to the your target markets, because we will be coming to the concept of market segmentation, because you out of the entire population, you basically need to choose which audience you are going to take your product to, okay, or your services to, and how you are able to satisfy their needs and more effectively, and how you are going to position your offerings the in comparison to your competitors. So that is of immense value. And similarly, then there's another concept known as societal marketing, which is basically satisfying the consumer satisfaction, and at the same time you are also able to make profits, as well as the society's well-being is also taken care of. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So when you talk about marketing, it basically rests on four pillars. What are those four pillars? Number one is your target market. So like I said, yet you cannot, the product or the services cannot for everybody. So there are some services, for example in healthcare, for elderly population, which is called the geriatric services, or there are certain services which are for the children, this is called the pediatric services. So likewise, you really need to choose your audience and what are their needs, what are they looking for, okay, and how you are going to position your offering, like what all tools we are going to use, so that you integrate them together in order to showcase it to your audience, and in whether in that process you are able to make profit. So market segmentation approach, as you can see in the slide, it is basically divided into four parts. What are these? These are the geographical, the market segmentation in terms of geographical or demographic or psychographic or behavioral. So geographic in terms of, as the name suggests, because on geography, like you are able to sell it, you want your product is or your services for rural market, or it's for urban market, or demographically you are basically positioning your product, or your product is basically divided in terms of age, gender, for males, females, family size, occupation, income. So then similarly what sort of lifestyle it is of the people is there, to which audience you are, and in terms of behavioral as well. So basically if you see from this slide, so selling, when you talk about a selling concept, it is basically when the factory it starts, and the main concept is to sell and make profits. Whereas when you talk about a marketing concepts, there's a market, and you need to understand the customer needs, and you integrate the marketing efforts so that the profits are through the customer satisfaction, and through word of mouth, or through publicity, you are able to get more audience. So this comes to us, or this takes us to a new concept which is known, called the marketing mix. What is a marketing mix? It is a set of the marketing tools that the firm uses to pursue its marketing objectives. So it includes, it is also known as the 7 P's of marketing. Okay, what are those P's? Number one is product, the second is price, promotion, place, people, process, and physical evidence, and we will come to one by one. So let us talk about the first thing, that is the product. Like I said, when a business is being created, it is all about a value creation. So the product or a service that you are going to give, like how does or what does the customer want from the product, what he or she is looking at. For example, suppose tomorrow you want to get married. Now when you get married, would you like to get married to anybody, or you will have a certain preference, like you will say, I want this sort of an education, this sort of a financial status, this sort of a social status, this should be the height, this should be the look. So you basically are looking for a particular sort of a range of things, so that you agree, and it is fulfilling your need. Okay, similarly, like when you go for a mobile phone, what features does this have, how and where the customer will use it, what will be its size, color, what will be the pricing, how it is different from its competitors. Okay, so a product will be the whole range, and so do the services. Now similarly, when you come to the price aspect, like what is the value of the product or the services to the buyer, whether the price is extremely high. For example, see the Apple products, because they have got a high quality and a status symbol, so that's why they have been priced quite high as compared to the other products. But at the same time, if you get the same services and everything for a Xiaomi, okay, then whether you are going to go for a Samsung brand, so that basically also plays into the mind of the customer. Similarly, like whether the customer is your price sensitive, whether the price really is important to the customer, or whether the product is being sold, for example Levi's jeans. Now the original cost may be 3,000, 4,000, but tomorrow if there is a sale and you are getting for 900, so whether you are going to, so there are various concepts such as price skimping, and then your premium pricing. So we will come to these concepts as we talk about the individual components of marketing mix in details in the future classes. Then there's a place. Okay, there's a concept of place. Where do actually the buyers look for the product or services, whether they are going to a particular market. For example, Bhagirath Palace in Delhi is famous for electronic market, like, because since there is you can get all sort of electronic devices, so you can go bargain, or Palika Bazaar. Okay, so like this. And then basically, how can you access through the right distributing channels, so you, whether you are going to a wholesale market, or where you can get it at a cheaper price and a good quality. For example, like, people are going nowadays to China to buy the product, because the cost of production is really low, and can people can make good profit. And similarly, promotion, like, how you are going to address your audience about your product or services, whether you are going to television, or you are going to through newspapers, or you are going through any of the events, or you are going to through direct marketing, for examples, for giving SMS or on WhatsApp. So all these play a very very important role when you talk about marketing mix. So basically, when you talk about product, it is all about the variety, quality, design, features, brand name, packaging, sizes, and warranties of the product. When you talk about prices, the what is the list price, what is the discount, what are the allowances, whether you are going to have some sort of a add-on points on credit card. So all these are methods, various methods of under pricing. Similarly, for sales, promotion, and advertisement, you have got certain promotional aspects, and the places, like, what are the various distribution channel, what is the supply chain, what is the logistics, how is the inventory, transport. So all these play a important role. So from here, basically, marketing has got four C's as well, like four P's, like we said. So it is the customer need, how what sort of mix that you are doing in marketing, so that you are addressing the customer needs or the wants, at what cost it is reaching to the customer, how convenient it is, and what sort of communication methods you are going to use. So the product has to be such so that it has basically meeting the customer needs. The price has to be such so that the customer would actually want to buy it. The place is such where it is convenient for the customer to take it, and the promotion should be done in such a manner, but that means the customer should be able to know about all these things. So the core idea, to crux up the entire summary of this chapter, is basically you have a product, and the core benefit is the service, or the benefit the customer is really, whether this customer, that it is good enough that the customer would really want to buy it. So based on this, you talk about a basic product. For example, you want to go to a hotel, and it should be have a bed set which should be clean, and the toilet should be clean, and a basic facilities maybe having a fan or an AC, or like that. But then when you talk about an expected product, whether the customers minimal expectation are met or not, it needs to be seen. When you talk about an augmented product, it basically talks about when the product actually exceeds customer expectations. Okay, because the type of money for which it has been bought, the value is quite high. And similarly, when you add all these things, there is a potential concept of potential product, which basically encompasses all possible augmentations and transformations the product or the offering might undergo in the future. So with this, we come to the end of this chapter. So I hope, like, the concept about marketing is important, as well as it you have been able to understand the important concept regarding the marketing mix. What do you mean by a product, what do you mean by a need, want? Okay, and if you have any questions, do feel free to write to us on the email, or you can log out to our website and can see the rest of the other new developments that we are bringing into the college from time to time. Thank you so much. We'll meet again soon.